Good evening and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a rainy Silverstone circuit here for round 6 in PSGL F4. My name is Felix and I am very happy to introduce someone new to the commentary box here in F4. We found a replacement for Jake, who retired from commentating, and his name is Jared. Good evening.
Oh, good evening, Felix. It is good to be back, especially with you as a commentator, as we did comments before, a couple of seasons ago in PSGL, but it is great to be back, and a shame Jake retired, but it's good to be back, and especially with the conditions in Britain, it's going to be a very interesting qualifying session.
Yeah, we can see drivers have put on the intermediate tyres, so it looks like it's not that heavy at the moment. We obviously have no idea how it's going to be like at the end of the session. By the way, quick note, thank you for everyone who subscribed to the PSGL channel. We've just hit 10,000 subscribers this week, which is an absolutely incredible achievement. So yeah, thank you all who subscribe to the channel and who is watching every single week. Jared, would you tell us something about the damage rate for this week?
Well, the damage rate, the car damage on its whole is unreduced. The car damage rate is on simulation. So basically same as last week, except the car damage is into standard being reduced. So that only affects the front wing and the tyres. So it's going to be very interesting how people are going to be making overtakes, because round here with a broken front wing can be very crucial, as I found out myself yesterday by racing, and it's a bit of minor damage can affect your race, and you might have to pit to be quicker in the end.
Yeah, we obviously don't know what the weather is going to be like, but in qualifying at least, it seems to be a bit tricky, as the first one to set a lap is going to be Shane, who nearly invalidates, coming through turn 1 and has a huge snap of oversteer, and he is going to be the first one that spins in this qualifying session, and I'm pretty sure he isn't going to be the last one, but that is already his lap over, so we'll switch on board with Rudy then coming into turn 3. Obviously the Silverstone circuit has so many iconic corners, and right now through this newest section, or the latest addition to the circuit, which was introduced in 2010, if I'm not mistaken. Was it 2010?
I believe it was 2010, yeah, because the other layout was, I think, a bit too dangerous. So I can't remember what the reason why they changed it, but this is the better layout.
Yeah, well, in 2010 we had the old pit straight, which we're coming up to now, right before Cops, as the start-finish straight, with the old pit lane on the right-hand side, which is still used up to this day in some series in real life, but on the F1 game and in real life F1, obviously they're using the new pit lane with that very, very long entry. So I think the time you need to, or the gap you need to stay ahead of someone is about 26 seconds, I reckon. At least in real life, it's about 26 seconds.
Yeah, I think you're right on that. 26 to 24, as you said, it is a slow pit lane, so it's going to be interesting on pit stops, and the undercut is very powerful, as Shin did do a lap, a bank over 38.7, so with him spinning. But obviously Rudy's going to smash that lap time.
Yeah, as it comes around the final corner now with a slight step of oversteer, and that is 2.2 seconds faster, which is actually not as much as I would have expected it to be after an entire spin and 360 after turn 2. Let's see who comes across the line now. I think Ron is about to cross the line, and yes, he is onto provisional pole for now, 0.4 of a second ahead of Rudy. A minute Timberlake's went a bit slower. Obviously, Jared, you have absolutely no idea what the standings are like. I had an idea until last week, when I sadly had to miss out after qualifying, because I was dying throughout quali because of the cuffing, which I'm still very sorry about for everyone who was looking forward to the stream, but luckily now I'm back and I'm not sick anymore, so that's a good thing, and I should have enough energy for this race then. As Leggy puts his car on the second row of the grid. But yeah, sadly I don't have the updated standings for this week after the race in Italy. So I really can't tell you right now what the standings are looking like, which I'm very sorry about, but that's just the way it is. I don't have the updated standings, and yeah, can't do much about that, so I have no idea who won last week.
Oh, that's alright, it's understandable. It sometimes happens. Obviously, I've made that mistake with standings, having them a bit late. It's only nature. People make mistakes and they can come back from them. But right now, Rocco Walsh, or TCD Trinity, is on a lap in the Red Bull. Cameron Young's teammate, was Toxic Tomato. He's now approaching Stoke Corner on the inters as Davidic has done a 35.7 there, Felix, on the intermediate tyres, so he's finding a lot more pace. The Christian's still at the same start. Big lock up there from Trinity as he's now coming through the final couple of corners. Got to get a good run here. Hopefully he doesn't lose the rear end. Good traction, and the time's going to be a 35.8. That promotes him to second place at the moment. Could be challenging for pole.
Yeah, pretty close lap times so far at the front. I mean, the top three not even separated by a tenth of a second. But we should see the track drying up a little bit throughout the throughout this session. So we'll have to wait and see how it's going to be at the end. I think lap times will definitely improve, and it's usually in wet quali sessions it's a thing of timing. Whoever sets his lap time at the best possible time on track when the track is at its best stage, then it's ultimately down to you know, being there at the right time. But obviously we have no idea if the rain's going to get heavier or lighter, or it might even dry up, as Noah has crashed coming out of turn 5, it looks like. And
yeah,
that is his quali session over. And Toxic Tomato has just invalidated his second try once again as DV puts his car onto P4, which is P5 by now, as Shane improves and goes onto provisional pole by just a bit more than a tenth.
Knuth sets his lap time, 1:37.5, moving to 16th. But as the other McLaren went off, I did see where he went off, and it looks like he lost his left front tyre. So he must have lost control of the car and hit the wall with a hefty impact. So that is a shame for his qualifying session.
Looks like the track is definitely getting a bit quicker, as Davidek has just improved by quite a lot. And he's looking very quick today, as Trinity does as well, with only 100 of a second behind current pole sitter Davidek, with about 10 minutes to go in this quali session. It looks like the track is getting more and more dry.
Cameron is off in the same place, near the same place where the McLaren went off, and also Tyres has put in the chat. Rudy won last week, apparently. For your info, Felix.
Thank you. That is helpful, but yeah, it looks like people are struggling to get the traction down out of turn 4 then, which I can definitely imagine, because obviously the nature of the corner makes you turn while you're on the acceleration, and that's never a good thing in a Formula 1 car, and especially in the rain then. But obviously there's turn 5 as the left-hander, so you can't keep your car entirely straight coming out of the corner and throughout the traction zone, so it's going to be tricky for the drivers in the race as well if it stays like this for tomorrow. And Jared, I think you can tell us quite a lot about British weather.
Well, yeah, definitely. As I live in Britain, obviously the weather can be questionable at times. One minute it could be nice and sunny, 1 minute it can be throwing it with rain, as it is at the moment. As Knuth does, looks like he improves his time but stays 16th in the McLaren. But yeah, the conditions can easily vary, and it does look brighter, but the rain might be lightening up. But I think it's going to be inters all the way through this qualifying session. I don't think the dry tyres are going to be in use in this session at all, as I think that's Laggy off in turn 6, I believe.
Yeah, looks like it's his Ferrari. Let's see what Slimbo does as he comes across the line. It's not going to be pole, but it's going to be the second row of the grid. So good time for the Aston Martin boys so far in this session. They're locking out the second row of the grid at their home GP here. I bet the British fans were like that quite a lot, but yeah, it's looking like some drivers are struggling more than others around this circuit. But obviously in the rain it comes down to just being on the absolute limit and exactly knowing what your car can do and not overstepping the mark, which we saw in Zandvoort, where Jesus, I can't remember. Who was it? Was it Rudy? Ah, goodness me, I can't remember. Someone, I think it was Rudy, but I'm not entirely sure. Someone was leading almost the entirety of the race, basically every single lap until they spun on lap 26. And it was raining throughout the entirety of the race as well, so yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Rudy actually. Yeah, I think it was.
So in the end, it really comes down to car control and consistency in the rain as well, because obviously a mistake is a lot easier done in the wet than it is in the dry.
Definitely now at the moment on board with Cameron Young, or Toxic. It looks like he's going to finally set a valid lap time. He's really struggling to keep that car on track. Goes 11th quickest with a 35.8.
Yeah, good lap time, or solid lap time. Usually I'd say P11 is a good starting position, especially in terms of strategy, but obviously having a wet qualifying session, everyone's going to have a free choice of tyres then, and it looks like he's not really slowing down, or is he?
I don't think he is he?
No, I think he's going for a second run. Obviously in the rain you can do it, because it doesn't drain as much ERS as it does in the dry. So why not? And maybe get more comfortable with the conditions and fight the limit of the car a bit better. Obviously in real life you have those practice sessions where you can learn your car until you 100% know it and know what it can do. But here in PSGL you just have a quali session. Obviously you can practice before, but in the end it comes down to the quali session as Toxic slightly not invalidates, but slightly track extends through Cops as he comes through Maggots Beckett. And now Chapel slightly hits the grass on the left hand side as Rudy goes onto provisional pole and kicks off Davide from the first position on the grid spot.
That's good lap time there for him, and right now the only person who hasn't set lap time is Cohen. He's now finally come out the pit lane to start his flying lap. He's currently now in a new section of the track, or the latest section as Felix said. Entering sector 1, will his sector be purple? No, he does a 30.2 first sector, runs a bit deep there, struggling with the brakes, and it looks like Alpine's either backed off coming out the pit lane or lost it at turn 2. But he's back under control now, so we're back on board with the Mercedes then, trying to get the shortest route possible now to Copse Corner. It's going to be very nervy how they're going to take this. He's under control, backs off a lot there so he doesn't lose the rear. Obviously you're not going to take that flat in the dry, possibly you can. He's now going through Maggots and Beckett's now, and I think he's just having a sandbagger of a lap for the first run, and the second one I think he's going to push, as he has 4.5 minutes remaining in the session here, Felix, as he's approaching Stowe Corner.
Yeah, it looks like the track is a bit drier than it was at the beginning, if I'm not mistaken. At least the racing line looks to be a lot more grippy than it was at the start of the session. So it might just be his tactic to set a couple of laps towards the end of the session, which could be a good way to go here, but let's see what his banker is then. It's not going to be quick at all, 2.1 second off the leader, but it definitely looked like he wasn't pushing to the limit, as he then was pushing a bit over the limit and validating through turn 1. Martin is on his way to improve his best lap time. We're currently about 0.2 of a second as he comes around the final corner. Let's see if he can improve his starting position. No, he cannot. 0.7 behind our current leader, and it's only P15.
I'm trying to see if anybody else on a flying lap right now.
Yeah, it looks like Ares is on a flying lap, and he's coming towards the end of it on the hanger straight now, coming up towards Stowe. A bit, yeah, very, very wide through Stowe. That didn't look good, that didn't look quick. Looks like he just overstepped the mark there a little bit and then went wide. But coming through the last part here, let's see what he can do in terms of lap time. Is it going to be an improvement at all, or nope, it isn't. I think he just threw it all away there in Stowe. That easily cost him a 10th or 2. So and he only just missed out on an improvement, so I think that would have been a lot better if he wouldn't have made that mistake, as Tiramisu improved his lap time and went up into 12th place.
And yeah, good lap there for him to be into 12th then. So the Alfa Romeos 6th and 12th right now, so I'm going to be happy with that. Possible if it is dry, 2 drivers on different strategies, maybe one driver on softs, one driver on mediums, as it's an easy soft medium strategy. Is David sets a new fast lap 1:25.229, so every time his teammate sets a quicker time, he beats it. So track does look like it's getting quicker, and Rocco is on a lap as well, but he's actually invalidated, so I think he's going for another run. And I think it might be his final run now. Felix, do you think 2 minutes remaining in the session? You think he's got enough time?
Could be a bit close with 2 runs. I mean, I don't know where he is exactly on track, but he'll have to be at the end of it right now and then set a really quick lap time to be able to do another one, as Ron goes on to provisional pole in his Aston Martin at the home race of his team. Trinity just started a lap as well. DV, by the way, moved up into 6th place. The other Alfa Romeo of Slimbo has invalidated his lap. Let's see if Ares has backed off. Jabraka just started his lap, and there's
Sam CY, I can't say his name. The other Williams driving 9th. Was like 16th. He's now moved to 9th. Simblix. He's in a 35.5, so a good lap time for him there, and he's in the top 10.
Yeah, good stuff from him. Let's see what the McLaren of Noob does. Obviously, McLaren with a brilliant season in real life so far. Let's see if that goes on to the F1 game here in F4 as well. As he comes around the final couple of corners, will it be an improvement? Will it be a position up the order? Yes, it will. And it is P5 for now. Good starting position for the race if he stays where he is. But it looks like the track is really drying at the moment, as Kona has a bit of traffic on his final run. That is only P19 for him. And Ron is on another lap, and he's barely improving. But it could be enough to snatch pole position away from David. As he comes around Stowe, it looked a lot better than what we saw earlier on, where one driver went very wide. I think it was Ares, a bit wide, and into the third to last corner then. Tricky on the traction here. Jabraka moves up into P3, and yes, Ron improves by not quite half a tenth, but will that be enough to beat Davidek, who is on his final lap as well, and he's slightly down on his time in the first sector?
Well, that isn't good for him, as Martin's definitely not finishing his lap. He's going to remain in 14th with 35.7, or he might drop a couple of places for people to improve as he went off. Same place of where the McLaren crashed out, so he won't be setting another lap time. And the Red Bulls both backed off their last runs, but now on flyers.
Yeah, Davidek is on his final lap. Let's see what the second sector split says. It says a 10th quicker than his previous best, and it's a purple middle sector for the AlphaTauri driver. Can he snatch pole position away from Ron? Look at Nuth, only 1,000 of a second behind our current pole sitter, but there could be the AlphaTauri of Davidek now spoiling the party for the Aston Martin team as he comes around the final 2 corners. Has a snap of oversteer out of the last corner, but here he comes, and it's not enough. He lost time through the last sector, and it's not going to be pole for Davidek after he looked so quick through a quali, and in the end it could come down to 1,000 of a second. Let's see if Jabraka has anything to say against that. He's currently only just 100 of a second quicker than he was before, and he's currently down in P7. Let's see if he can fly up the order. Yeah,
135, 187.
And yeah, Jabraka improves as well, goes up into P5, but look at how close that is.
Okay, I just got to cut you off. Cameron invalidated and he did a 34.9. He would have had pole. Wow. That is a shame for Cameron.
But it's typical for Cameron, gotta say. Not gonna lie, it is quite typical for Cameron. Setting a banging lap time, but then invalidating. And it probably wasn't even a bad invalidation. But in the end, pole position was decided by 1,000 of a second, and P3 was only 4,000 of a second away from pole as well. And in general, everyone inside the top 7 was less than 1/10 behind our pole sitter. That is absolutely incredible, and yeah, really gets me hyped for the race.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's going to be very hyped for the race, especially with some people who are usually near the top, quite far down, and Cameron especially, or Toxic. He was very pumped for this race to be up there, and I think he could do well, and I'll let you go down the grid order, Felix.
Yeah, in the end then, it's Ron taking pole position, actually 2,000 ahead of Nuke now it says. DV takes third place on the grid, Trinity in P4. Jabraka will start from P5 ahead of Davide. Simbalix puts his Williams in their home race onto P7. Then Rudy in P8 ahead of Aras, and Shane rounds off the top 10. Then we've got our pole sitters teammates Limbo sitting in P11, then Kill, Laggy, Martin, Ricardo, Tiramisu, Dr. Tomato, who invalidated his last lap, Gustav, Cohen, and Noah will start from last on the grid, who retired midway through the session.
It's going to be a very interesting race, as we don't know the weather, so hopefully it'll dry so we can see some overtakes and everything.
Yep.
And
it's not looking overcast either, so it looks like we have good chances for having an entirely dry race, and it's going to be interesting to see how different drivers are going to attempt different strategies now, as obviously you have a completely free choice of tyres.
Well, yeah, that they've got to use, and I think a lot of people will be on the soft tyre for the start. Maybe actually it could be the mediums as well. So as you said, it's going to be very interesting what tyre choice it chooses. At the moment, we can have a quick sneak peek in the Mercedes garage. It looks like one of their drivers all going on softs. That is Gustav, and I can't see Cohen's. I think Cohen's will be on mediums. But I think a lot of people might pick the softs just to get the quicker tyre out of the way, and then go on the race year tyre for the end of the race.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see for that, as now the one light comes on for our formation lap here. Let's have a look at the tyres then. And it looks like the majority of the drivers have decided to go onto the medium tyre. Interestingly enough, Nuth, as one of the only two people to have absolutely no one right in front of them, has decided to start on the soft tyre. So he's going for a different strategy. Obviously, he's going to have a good chance of beating Ron from the line, from the get-go, to then, take the lead, cruise away, try to break out of that 1 second window within the first 2 laps, to then not give Ron the DRS he needs to stay with him, and then just fly off. Well, obviously, he's going to be slower on the second stint, and but he will have the undercut, so interesting. But what Nuth absolutely needs to do is pass Ron at the start so he can have clean air and make full use of his tyres. Also, Kill and Ricardo should be two we should watch out for in the race, especially at the start on their soft tyres. But that's going to be interesting. Jared, what do you reckon? Could that be a brilliant call from Nuth?
To be honest, I think it's probably the smartest call he could make, because there's always a chance of a safety car. Even if it's on reduced, we had it in F10, there was a safety car where someone just crashed it where we are with Ricardo now, in just coming out of Chapel on the Hannah Straight. So a safety car can come out on it being on reduced, so it's a gamble. He is risking it, but I think it could pay off if it comes out. If it doesn't, I think the guys in the mediums are going to beat him in the race, because then they'll be on softs, they'll be on the quicker tyre. And if you get a good run, it's quite easy to overtake. But Knuth needs to get a good start, take the lead and pull away, and needs to just break that DRS before DRS is activated.
An interesting race lays upon our hands, and I'm very curious to see what will happen at the start, with Nuth on the soft tyre right next to a pole sitter, Ron in the Aston Martin, as the final couple of cars are lining up on the grid. We've got
I'll keep an eye on the back for you, in case there's a massive pile-up.
That is good. And now the final car on the grid has settled down on their grid slot, and now we are getting ready for the race start. The lights are coming on. We've got 5 red lights. And we're underway in Silverstone. Nuth needs a good start on his soft tyres, and he's looking to have a pretty good start. And he's side by side with our current leader as well right now, coming into turn 1. And he takes the lead down the inside, which now leads into the outside, and then the inside once again, coming into turn 3. And yes, he has taken the lead. Brilliant start from DB, who's kept his third place. So now, let's see if Kill has made up some positions. No, he hasn't just
I've got
now.
to cut you off here, Felix. The Alfa Romeo has just gone right into the back end of Ricardo, and I think Kill on. There's carnage. Cameron's been hit. Toxic's got no front wing. That's going to ruin his strategy in a VSC already. And wow, there was a lot of front wings going out of turn 3, and it's just hectic. People just can't slow down quick enough and race our side and just get front wing damage. So very early VSC.
Yeah, that's the difficult thing about simulation damage rate. You're going to lose a part of your front wing very, very easily. And I saw a couple of cars going off through turn 5 then. One of them was Cameron, who was without his front wing in the end. And someone who's got saved by the virtual safety car was Jabraka, who was under pressure from Slimber. Slimber tried to pass him, but wasn't quite able to do so, as we're back to green flag racing. Jabraka with a bad start. Lost 2 positions. They might lose 3 now, as Slimber, after a brilliant start, now started in P11. Now he might be up to P7 if he can make the pass into Stone. No, he can't. He's just behind Jabraka, just lost a bit of his front wing, and that is his good start out of the window. He needs to be careful not to hit someone, but he has done that quite well. Ares also with an absolutely brilliant start, moving up 4 positions. But wow, Gustav and Noah have made some brilliant starts. We've got drivers inside each other, and that is not how you're supposed to overtake. But all right, it's an easier way to do it. Just go through them, which could be difficult, as the Alfa Romeo now is actually ahead of Jabraka. That was a rather easy overtake, just going through them. And Ares has just made up another
Rudy's now making an overtake on Simulix. He's got the manoeuvre and quite easy there, and I don't know if the Williams got damage with the contact, because he's now losing another position. His teammate Martin, who was in 14th, I believe 15th, is now in 8th place, so he's had a very good race at the moment.
Yeah, and Simulix is dropping down like a stone right now. He's just lost another position to the Ferrari now of Ricardo, who has started on the soft tyre as well, has gained 5 positions. Good start from him then. And we've seen a McLaren going off in the background as well. But the critical thing now for the race lead is going to be Nuth needs to get away from Ron in order to make his tyres work, or to actually make use of his soft tyres, because otherwise he's not going to have a chance of winning this race.
Yeah,
oh, look at that. Sorry, Rudy is trying to pass Jabraka out of Stowe, and he's done so around the outside. Brilliant move on the exit. He went side by side with him. We've got yellow flags in the background. Ron has just set the fastest lap time.
Is it, or is that Rudy?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it was Rudy. He's just dropped all the way to 12.
Oh, yeah.
So he must have been caught up in something. And just some more info on that, William Simulix did have some minor damage to his wing. So as I said before the race, if you get damage to that front wing, it is really going to affect you. And he lost a lot of time positions, and he's going on the soft tyres. I think he's going to do a 2-stop, soft to the end.
Yeah, I think it's no use going on to the hard tyres now. You're just going to be a sitting duck all the way through the race. Obviously, you'll save a pit stop, but I think you'll lose enough time to lose out to those who are doing a 2-stop with soft and medium. So I think the softs is the smartest choice.
Oh, Knuth's almost round. Knuth almost lost the rear end out of Cop's corner on the exit, and he's now lost position to run there, Felix. That was a very close call for the McLaren.
Oh, wow. He's really not making the best of his tyres right now. And Slimbo has retired after his pretty good start. He is out of this race, and we have our second VSC within the first.
This could help Knuth. He might decide to pit and go mediums. It will be a push for those mediums, but I think it could be a good strategy to get off those tyres. And he stays out.
Yeah, he stays out. It's not looking too good. He had a great start and did what he needed to do by passing Ron for first position for a bit of time, but yeah, now it's all out the window as Jabraka decides to pit. Has he got front wing damage? I'm not too sure. He might have. And obviously the VSC is then the best. Oh, and he's got a drive through Ricardo after a brilliant start. on his soft tyres. He's now with a drive through, and Gustav and Martin are going at it, and Martin went off the track in turn 1. He might have to give that place back in order not to get a penalty post-race. Well, look at the Ferrari of Ricciardo. Ricciardo is a bit mad probably inside that cockpit because of that drive-through penalty he just got, which, especially around Silverstone, really hurts your chances. And there he goes down the inside, Gustav, with a very late lunge, and he slightly makes contact with the Williams and can't make his way past the Williams car of Martin. It was a very late move, and there was some tyre banging, I think, but he couldn't make the move stick, and in the end he's now under a lot more pressure from Ricciardo than he was before.
It's true. Right now, though, I'm on board with the Haas in third, and Rocco Walsh, or Trinity, is going against Knuth now. Knuth has not really fallen too far back from running the Aston, but you can just tell those softs now might have had a bit of overheating or something to the tyre, but it just doesn't look like he's got good race pace to get ahead of the Aston and pull away, as we did see. But he's in this train, and it's just going to be him stuck in this train, so I don't think Knuth's got a good chance of winning now. For the end of the race, unless this safety car does come out and come in play, because if it does come out in the next couple of laps, it ruins the medium runners, because then they're going to go medium to hard.
Yeah, and also if obviously we'll have to remember he has to pit early, and that will give him an undercut, which is very, very powerful on the F1 game, so that could be a good chance for him to maybe get back into the lead and build up a bit of a gap. But now is the chance for Knuth to pass the leader, and yes, he does so on lap 5. He takes the lead from the Aston Martin again, as he did on lap 1, and now he can't afford to make another mistake. He now needs to pull away from the Aston Martin, and maybe needs to hope that DV gives Ron a hard time in P2 then. But the main thing for Knuth now is to not make any mistakes, and especially not track extending. Martin moves up a position, he goes past Ares, and he's up into P5 as well, as he slightly misses the apex of Cops.
Gustav looks really quick there on Ares right now, so Ares is struggling with the DRS. I believe that's the other Williams who's he's actually manually retired in the pit lane, so he's given up. But the Mercedes of Gustav is right on Ares' tail, and I think he's going to go for the overtake down the hanger straight now, as he's catching up so quickly. Going on the inside, he's going to dive it. He's thinking about it, but he's going to get contact. Oh, that could be some wing damage. Just a little knock like that can take your wing off.
And Ricciardo pits.
Like yeah, he's going to serve his drive-through, I think.
Yeah, I forgot about that, sorry. But Knuth is still not able to pull away as much as he would like to from Ron, but especially in the second sector it should be possible. Sorry.
Yeah, definitely they should be able to pull away, but I can also understand why as well. Those tyres aren't going to be as fresh as they were at the start of the race, and to be honest, I think that VSC kind of ruined his not motivation, but I don't know what the word is. Basically, when you're in a rhythm,
yeah,
it ruined his rhythm, and it's his mind almost loses the rear there. Out of
Gustav is dropping down, and yes, he has spun through left field. It looks like. Oh, that's not good. He was looking so quick. I really don't know what happened. There might have been some contact with drivers around him, but he's now dropped down to 10th again. And
it's a shame. Martin almost lost it as well.
Back to the start for him.
And I don't think there was any contact. Ares was actually quite far away. And hang on a minute. That is a Red Bull, I believe. I think that is Cameron Young. He's lost it.
He's in the ball.
And lost the win. Left end plate's gone.
What a nightmare of a weekend.
He hasn't had the best of the season, has he, Cameron? And it does annoy him, as he is one of the quick driver. I'm not going to say the quickest, obviously, but he's up there, and he should be easily scoring some points. And it's just a shame there for Cameron and Toxic today. It's all eyes on Trinity, who's in 4th place for Red Bull.
Yeah, he's sadly the perfect example of that raw speed isn't everything. We all know how quick he is on his day, but he just needs to get the consistency together. Obviously in qualifying and validating, putting him in a bad position for the start, and then losing his front wing, obviously, which is sometimes just inevitable when you're just in the pack at the start with simulation damage rate. And yeah, basically the weekend was over before it even started for him, and it's just a shame to see that he can't get his consistency together, because then you get annoyed and then you start to make more and more mistakes, and yeah, it's just not a good season for him so far, and he's not achieving what he wanted to achieve before the beginning of the season. Is it looking a bit overcast around the track?
Yeah, I was actually going to mention that. The clouds have sort of, yeah, Cameron has retired, and I don't blame him. He doesn't feel like...
Oh, look at Ron. Ron is trying to regain the lead on lap 7 into Stowe. He dives down the inside and makes the move stick, and he gives Newt a very, very hard time, even though he is on the quicker tyre. And yes, it is getting quite overcast, so we might see some rain coming into play. But the lead has changed once again. Noah has passed Aras for P7 right now, P6, sorry. And Newt is trying to regain the lead now, right after he lost it. But
yeah, he's
it's
right
not
on
looking
the
too. Ooh, and it's not looking too good for the McLaren. He just seems to not have the pace to pull away. But I think he just needs to break out of that 1 second DRS window once, and then he's absolutely gone. But now he might even come under pressure from DV behind, who's just 2/10s behind him. And there goes DV. Maybe nope, he stays back for another lap.
Yeah, I think that's smart there from the Haas driver. You know, you don't want to dive it, as we did see earlier, Gustav, making a dive and it almost ended in tears. So, Knuth might still have some pace in those softs, but there's no way now, even if he did pull a second, he won't be able to pull a big enough gap, because the softs eventually will die off, and the pit window is in the range now, around about lap 8 to 10, so the mediums are going to start feeling better. As we see, it just looks like the guys on the mediums are got a lot better race pace than the guys on the softs right now, as Knuth is really trying to get back into that Aston and try and re-overtake him, as he looks like he's going to make an overtake now, down the hanger straight, easy overtake, DRS, ARS, one on the inside, down the hanger straight now, approaching Stowe corner, and he gets the inside and takes the lead, and the Aston doesn't come back for the switchback yet.
Gotta say, a pretty interesting race, especially having a fight for the win is always quite nice, but I think right now it's just a bit more tactical, and it's going to come down to the final couple of laps, or to the second stint at least, where it really matters who's got track position. But right now it's just, you know, it doesn't really matter, because they're on two different strategies. Obviously both drivers are yet to make their pit stops, but it's looking a bit overcast, so I wouldn't be surprised if we'd see some rain within the next couple of laps.
No, yeah, obviously, I don't think in a couple of laps. I think maybe near the end if there is rain. But it is Britain, obviously, we have said now and then the weather can change within an eye, so it could be just getting cloudy. There could also be no threat of rain at all, but we'll just have to wait and see, as you've said. As Ricardo has just saved his drive through, he's now just been picked up a 3-second time penalty. He's having the walls with the stewards today.
Yeah, it's not looking great. He had a brilliant start to the race on his soft tyres, but in the end his drive-through just ruined everything and basically got him out of that rhythm. That was a beautiful camera angle from the inside curve of Cops, which is now quickly gone once again, and it looks like Rudy is pretty close to the back of Aras. By the way, Noah has just picked up his first penalty of the race, so he's going to have 3 seconds added to his final race time then. And it looks like Aras doesn't have the best run through Meggett, Beckett and Chapel, and it looks like Rudy's going to be close enough to try and set up a move then. And yeah, Aras basically weaves him through, which is very nice of him. And I bet Rudy will like to see that, and I bet Cohen won't. And we've got someone spun. It looks like
that
Shane.
Is Shane. He's
lost look at Cohen. Sorry to interrupt you, but there goes Cohen. No, he can't.
BSC.
And we've got rain. We've got rain on lap 9.
Wow. You're right. I actually wasn't expecting the rain to come this soon, because it isn't really
and
dark.
Gustav has just pitted. Oh wow, that is some unlucky timing.
That is unlucky indeed, but I was actually going to mention before some overtakes, I've just noticed Rocco was on 70% ERS while the guys ahead of him were under 50. So Rocco wasn't actually pushing, he was just staying there, saving his ERS and battery. So I think if the weather doesn't change tyres quite soon, I think Rocco could be one of the guys to win the race.
Speaking of changing tyres, Gustav has made his pit stop for intermediates.
Oh, I think that's a bit too early.
That is way too early, I think. He's absolutely going to destroy those inters. I mean, it's a brave call, and maybe he thinks he's got nothing to lose, but he's going to absolutely rip those tyres apart for the next couple of laps, and that's not going to be good at all.
Just tell.
Yeah, look at Laggy flying past him. That was not a smart decision, I think. That was way too early.
Oh, it's a shame for him, as Knuth is still holding the lead now, and yeah, it's going to be interesting. Now, he might have been saved with these conditions changing on strategy, but
Noah looking for the outside against Martin into Stowe, but he can't make the mistake. Martin defends very well, and he's dummied him, pretending to dive into the pits, nearly hitting the back of the Williams. But I bet the British fans around here will love that race right now. I mean, we've got two British manufacturers fighting for the race win so far in this race, with McLaren and Aston Martin. So, good race for the British fans.
Oh yeah, definitely. Aston Martin as well, as they're new to F1 this season after they took over Racing Point. You know, the Aston team right now are doing good. Currently in second, only on one car though, unfortunately. Stimbo is out, was one of our first retirements. But I think he won't be too disappointed with his retirement, with his teammate possibly aiming for victory, or at least getting the podium in today's race, because these four have got a 11.2 second gap to Noah in the other McLaren in fifth. And I'd just like to say, Noah started last and he's in fifth.
Yeah, that's an absolutely brilliant and stunning effort from him so far this race. But obviously, he needs to finish it. He needs to finish the job. You know, if you have a great race until lap 12, it won't matter in the end because he won't score points. But right now, it's looking brilliant for the McLaren driver. And he's done a fantastic job so far. But he needs to keep on doing what he's doing right now. And now, if he can build up that gap to Martin, he might even keep his P5 despite the 3-second penalty.
What's true is right now then we're going to keep an eye on this battle for the top four, but then there's another battle further behind. It's little trains right now as Aries. He's trying to keep up with Rudy, who's trying to keep up with Martin, who's then trying to keep up with Noah. So there's a bit of separation now in this train. Plus we're going to go to a 3-car fight against Rudy between Aries and Cohen, and Cohen's had a good race as well. He's in 9th right now, so he's trying to keep up with Aries in the Alfa Romeo on those mediums.
Ricciardo, by the way, is looking like he's having a tough time on those softs right now because he has to defend from Davidek, who is on the mediums behind him, and Jabrakas waiting back there as well, as Leggy has spun around the final corner. Was outside of the points anyway, but still, maybe it's a sign for those softs going off right now, and maybe the rain gets worse and worse, and the grip levels get worse as well. Who knows? But
Shane's inters are still not doing that well, and I think Ricciardo's tyres, the reason why he's struggling with them is because they're 11 laps. If he's not careful, he's going to have to pit because he could get a puncture in the next couple of laps.
DV just nearly hit the back of Ron as he approached still with a different line than the Aston Martin ahead of him. DV in third, the first non-British car to be in the grid order right now in P3. Then right behind him an Austrian manufacturer, and then once again British and British. So good day for all the British fans around here.
Indeed there is, as Rocco's now trying to keep up with them. He's now really struggling with the rear end, so maybe the track is getting to the point where inters could be a viable option, as Trini almost lost it there at turn 4, or turn 5 I think that is, as he's trying to keep up with these guys now, and they're starting to get closer. Shane has retired in the pit lane, so that is both Alpines out of the race.
Gotta say though, with the sim damage rate, right now it looks fine. It looks really good. Seems to be quite clean so far this race. Obviously you're always going to have some carnage at the start of a race, but in general it just looks quite clean so far. And but I gotta say, I actually liked it when we had both sim damage rate and sim damage, because I just like the fact that you can damage your rear wing and side pods as well, and the floor. And it looks like the rain is actually staying a little bit on the track, as DV tried to dummy Trinity behind him by pretending to dive into the pit lane. But if you go on board with some of the cars, you can see that the rain is actually staying on the track now. So we might not be too far away from intermediate conditions. But yeah, Gustav has switched back onto the Inters, and Rudy is in the pits, and I reckon he's going to fit the Inters.
Yeah, I think it's still a bit too early. I think maybe another 2 laps. Obviously, his Inter's not going to blow up like Gustav's, but they're still not going to be good if he is going the intermediate tyre. I will keep an eye out as he comes in the pits. Looks like he's having a front wing change.
Yeah.
No, he isn't. That was me actually looking wrong. He's actually on the Inters, and well, that was quick from the AlphaTauri mechanics. What have you guys been giving him in those Red Bull drinks? As Rudy then is leaving the pit lane. He's going to come out in 11th. His teammates also in as well, Davide. As Laggy has retired then, so he's also retired in the pit lane. He's called it a day. And yep, AlphaTauri crew away again. And yep, Inters are in with the AlphaTauri drivers.
First time they weren't that quick packing their stuff together.
Yeah, maybe they're rushing for the tyres, but I don't know, maybe another 2 laps and then I think it's possible for the Inters, because it isn't raining hard enough. As we did see in quali, it was a lot heavier than this. And
Ron pits. Ron is the first one out of, Trinity and Ron are the first ones out of that top group that go for the intermediate tyres. Intermediate tyres. So
I'll say intermediate, maybe a new tyre.
Intermediate would be quite nice. Let's see who wins the pit stop battle, Aston Martin or Red Bull. Red Bull obviously the kings of the pit stops, but it looks like this time Aston Martin was just that slightly bit quicker.
Oh, Aries is coming in the pits with a new front wing replacement, looks like.
Gotta say, it looks quite wet. It looks quite wet, not gonna lie, but it now depends on, first of all, the in-lap from those drivers in first and second from Nuth and DV, and then obviously the outlap from Ron and Trinity. But it looks like it might have been exactly the right call to pit on this lap, because the track does look quite wet, and we saw Ron going a bit wide coming into turn 6.
Well, the gap to lead from Knuth to Ron is 29.5, and I think the pit window is 26 seconds, so they've lost time pitting, it looks like, unless that is actually the general pit time. As oh, hang on, someone's gone off. That is Ricardo.
Yeah.
Really having a bad day. Yeah, no wonder why. He's on 14 lap softs. How has he not got a punch yet? Even how good the tyre is around here, you can't stay on those softs that long. They're just going to be destroyed, and you're going to overheat them, and you're going, especially in these conditions as well, you're going to easily lose the car.
Yeah, Nuth and Ron and DV, sorry, have both decided to pit on this lap as well.
Oh, will the McLaren's double stack? Yeah, Noah's coming in. Oh, he's going to get affected by the double stack, so he's going to lose time.
Nuth pits, and I hope that's a glitch. Yes, it was a glitch.
Yeah, I was going to say, he was where Noah was on my screen.
And there comes Nuth then, around the final 2 corners. Is it got to be close? Ron up the hill now, out of the pit lane, and it looks like Nuth has stayed in the lead, and it looks like DV is going to stay ahead of Ron, and yes, he is. He's jumped him with the overcut, and Ron has lost second place, and Nuth is in the lead now. But let's see if Ron slightly loses the rear end, and that might have hurt his chances of passing DV. Obviously now you won't have that DRS help on the straights, so it's going to make the overtaking a lot more difficult than it was before. So DV has climbed up into second place with that overcut, and Ron and Trinity might just had that one lap too early call to go onto the Inters. With 11 laps to go, we've got Nuth ahead of DV, ahead of Ron, ahead of Trinity.
Well, no, I was going to say DRS hasn't been said, but it has now, so it is actually the time to go to intermediates. But even on track, I still don't think it's wet enough. It's hardly raining, but it must be then if the FIA think it's safe for DRS, and Knuth's really being given a jail out free card then, as he's now in the lead. He's actually had a gap then of 1.3. It's now back to 8/10. So even with the gap he had, he's now losing it to the Haas of DV.
So yeah, Trinity seems to really struggle right now. So that's an issue for him. That podium seems to disappear a bit more and more now, as he's out of that 1 second window, which wouldn't matter in the rain right now anyways. But now we're back to Inter's conditions, and as we remember, it was super close at the top in qualifying in Inter's conditions. So let's see how it's going to be, or what it's going to be like in the race now. But it looks like the top three have, or the top four have lost one of their members with Trinity, who's now fallen behind a little bit. And Davey, Nude and Ron seem to be the leading pack now.
Yeah, he is, and he's doing a good job, and as he said, Trinity's just really falling back. So I don't think he's going to get a podium out of it today. He's really struggling, but a surprise contender in 5th place is Martin, because he jumped Noah with Noah double stacking. So the Williams right now in 5th, and is actually trying to catch up with Trinity, but he's 15.3, and he actually is closing slowly. But I don't think he'll have enough time. There's 1 lap 17 out of 26.
Yeah, with 10 laps to go now. When we cross the line, it's only going to be 9 laps. So now's the time where you really need to focus. Otherwise, you know, you're going to spin out. We saw that in qualifying, that some drivers were struggling a little bit here and there with the wet conditions. But now it's a thing of car control. How good do you know your own car? How good can you be as close as possible to the limit, but not overstep it and spin around? It looks like Trinity hasn't found his limit quite yet, but it looks like the top three really have.
Well, right now then, we'll just have to wait and see how people, as you've said, will be on the inters, and I'm just going to keep my point. It just doesn't look wet enough, like visually, but maybe they're seeing something different on track. As, oh, hang on a minute, there's Ricardo. He's manually retired, as we've just seen overtake. Davik's just dropped to 12. And a safety car.
Yeah, no, he hasn't manually retired.
There's a safety car, Felix.
Yeah. And
wow,
that brings Trinity back into the game.
It brings everybody back into the game now. That is very interesting. And yeah, he has actually just crashed. It looked like he manually retired because his car, for some reason, on the map was still going. Oh, and he's lost his left front wheel. So he's lost our chapel. That's a rip for him. And wow. Trinity will be happy with this.
Yeah, I tell you what, someone isn't going to be happy with this, and it's going to be Nude, because his competition has just grown more and more. Trinity is back into the game, and suddenly there's not only 2 cars behind him, but there's going to be the entire grid right behind him, willing to climb up as high as they can.
Definitely, as Gustav picks up 3 second. Cut in a couple of corners on the safety car. I know you want to catch up with the safety car, but I think you need to corner cut because you'll have plenty of time. It don't go in until the 2nd lap if everyone's caught up. I wonder if anyone's going to go for a fresh set of inters just for advantage near the end of this stage of the race, because 3 laps, fresher tyres could mean a lot. But it could be interesting.
By the way, I still want to point out that Noah, even though he double stacked, he's still in an absolute brilliant position. P6 gained 14 spots of his starting position, and there we have the brand new Aston Martin safety car. My goodness me, that looks absolutely, oh wow, I love the look of it. Oh wow, look at it, it's beautiful. Sorry.
It is beautiful, I have to agree, and I can't actually disagree with you on that. And I don't know if it is a feature, but it should be a feature where you can have one race Aston Martin and the other the Merc, like in real life. I think like the Alta, the safety car in real life.
I think they actually have the safety car set up for those races where it was actually set up in real life. So for Silverstone, it's the Aston Martin, and for other races, it is the Mercedes again.
Oh, so that's good. That actually looks good, and yeah, you've got to agree that Aston does look quite nice, and it's good to see in the game. But we're not here to see safety cars race, Felix. We're here to see some talented F4
I
drivers.
could watch that Aston Martin all day, not gonna lie, especially in real life. That is an absolute beast of a car, and it looks absolutely incredible. Sorry, had to simp over a car right now.
So it's British engineering and British made, so it's understandable, isn't it? But no, I have to agree with you. Aston Martin won the safety car. We needed that a lot earlier, and that Mercedes for a while. Where it was boring and silver, but they've upped it this year. It's red this year, the Merc, and green the Aston, which is a good combo, and it's something new, so it's good to see that. As we wait for everybody else to catch up, as Jabraka's still 20 seconds away from the pack. To be honest, I don't know if the Merc of Gustav's actually going to catch up if he's still at this pace, because this car, they've been on lap 1 already, so the second lap it has an option to go if everyone's caught up. He's going to be pushing it. I think on lap 3 or near the end of lap 2 he's going to catch it, so I think it'll be a push for the Mercedes.
Gonna be close, especially with that, but obviously Silverstone is a long track, so he's got a lot of time to catch up, and even though that Aston Martin looks brilliant, it's nowhere near the pace of an F1 car, so he should have enough time to catch up within 2 laps time now, because either it comes in at the end of this lap or next lap, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, if everyone's caught up, obviously it will go in this lap. They have to be all caught up. I think where that yellow circle is on the track map, where literally you're approaching Still Corner, and so...
Yeah, I've seen some very late calls on the old F1 game, but I don't know if it's still possible on this F1 game that it goes in that late.
I've seen it in Italy where it's gone on the Palavolca corner, like really late on the Palavolca corner. And you're literally almost to the line when it's literally just entering the pit lane. So it does now and then go in late. And I've seen glitches where the race has ended and a safety car's come out. And then where drivers then hit another driver and give him a 20-second penalty when the race is already finished, and it actually drops them the position. So
yeah, that's definitely not what we want.
But it won't be a Cody's game about bugs and glitches, as we've also seen in the PC F1.
I gotta say, this game has got some really good features, like the safety car frequency. It is in this lap because the Mercedes has actually caught up, so it's Newt now controlling the pace. Goodbye, beautiful looking Aston Martin, and hello McLaren in first. Simbolix
just spun. Yeah, he just spun on the pit lane, reset the track.
Well, he hasn't put any other car in a dangerous situation, so I think that should be alright, but obviously he's now down. He's overtaking other drivers, and Gustav spun? I don't know, but let's focus on the McLaren in first now. Let's go on board with him. Let's have a look at his rear wing, and yes, he is gone now. Looks to be a solid restart for him. He's got about a half-second gap to DV in second, but it looks like, yeah, that was a solid restart. We've got someone spun in the background. That's Davide. He is out of contention for points, I would say, in this race with 6 laps to go now. I doubt there is another safety car. Cohen has tried to make
Cohen and Errors side by side through turn 4 now. And the Mercs putting it there. Very good racing, respectful, giving each other room, and Harris there keeps in position.
Brilliant move by Harris around the outside then, and now Cohen has come under pressure from Jabraka now, who's trying to make use of that entire situation. Down the inside goes into turn 6. Now it turns into the outside for turn 7 though, so it's going to be a hard time holding that, but he's holding it. It's still going to be the outside for Cobbs though, but let's see who has got the better acceleration out of turn 7, and it looks to be Cohen who was able to keep his spot after he tried to attack Aris for P8. Now he needs to defend from Jabraka for P9, so it's definitely not worked out the way he wanted it to. But it looks like DV is really close to the rear end of New, who's just lost a bit of time now. So I thought he might have been able to set up a move, but that has gone out the window now. Rudy is pretty close.
Oh yeah, maneuvers are not going to be easy now as well because there's no DRS, so it's pure aero package now. Who's got the lowest aero to have the straight line speed on slipstream as well, and ERS, so it's going to be very interesting. Tunetank still doing a good job in the lead, 8/10, almost a gap. As he didn't have the best restart, but he kept it under control, as unfortunately Davidek. You said he's out of points, he's only 5.2 off, even with that spin, so he has enough time lapse to catch up. He could still get a chance for points for guys ahead of him getting penalties, so he only needs to pass Jax and Jabraka, so I think he's still got a chance to get a point, especially with these guys fighting at the moment for 9th.
Yeah, right now it looks to be same old story with the top 4 building out their gap over Martin in P5, and then there's Noah in P6, who obviously lost his spot to the Williams in the pit stops by his double stack. So that's unfortunate, and remember he's got that penalty, so he's at least going to drop behind Rudy and maybe even Cohen if he can stay within that 3-second window as Aras slightly goes wide. Aras also has got a 3-second time penalty, so that is not good for his finish in the end, with that 3-second with those 3 seconds being added to his final race time. But it looks like drivers are not really able to be close enough at the Hangar Straight, which you need to be, because it's basically the only real overtaking opportunity now, as Symbolic slightly loses the rear end. Or turn 3 might be a good shot if the driver ahead of you makes a mistake. Speaking of a mistake, look at Nuth. He's lost quite a bit of time now at the start of this lap, and if he now messes up his run through turn 1 and 2, which isn't the best one, he might give DV a shot for a move for the race winner. And yes, he goes in too deep into turn 3, and that might lead into DV having a good shot as he dives down the inside then on the acceleration, and he moves up into first place on lap 23. Nuth has lost the lead as they're going side by side coming down towards turn 5. That is absolutely brilliant, seeing them side by side now into turn 5, then turn 6. The McLaren of Nuth is going to have the inside line. No contact made just yet, it looked like, and he's regained the lead now, slightly pushing the Haas out wide, but that is some brilliant racing, and he's kept the lead for now, even though he's made that mistake. And that is some I remember some certain race and contact made into Cops then, and we all remember what happened in real life there, and they're going side by side through the S section here. That is some brilliant racing, and there's contact, and Nuth is round, and that is his race win out the window. He rejoins the track very dangerously, but he has spun, so he's got no other choice to spin back onto the racing line.
He's now just shoved Cohen off into the grass and given Cohen damage there. I don't really know if he could do anything because he just done ghost. As he said, it was a bit dangerous, but he had no control of that car. Cohen's got front wing damage. Bracker's now moved, and we said Davidek won't get points. Davidek's now 4.8. So if these guys keep having mistakes, there's now Simulus is off as well. And oh god, he's cutting the grass, mowing the grass, and he's in the pit lane.
Oh wow, absolute chaos. Absolute chaos.
Trinity is on a podium. What is this?
Well, basically, it had to go wrong at some point. It was fair and clean, but in the rain, going side by side through the S section, contact is basically inevitable. And even though those guys have shown quite a lot of respect fighting each other before, I think that was just a racing incident, if I'm honest, because I don't think you can leave that much space for two cars flying around those Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel corners in the rain. It's just not possible, and those cars are just, yeah, it was basically inevitable, so I don't think you can really blame anyone for that crash.
No, it was good side-by-side race. Unfortunately, we're not stewards, so the stewards might see it a bit differently if they get their footage. Obviously, we won't get the perfect scenario because we could be having a bit decent from our end and all that sort of stuff. So they'll look at it and see if there was any malice involved or anything like that. But as you said, it was wheel to wheel, and in the interconditions, it is hard to pass and hard to keep it clean. So, to be honest, I think they did a very good job, especially through Cops Corner when they're going side by side. So, yeah, it's very interesting. We do have another fight though. Aries and Rudy right now battling for 6th, trying to catch up with Noah's. Aries almost loses the rear end, and the rain is really picking up. He's making a dive now on the inside into the chicane. Oh, they almost hit, and he's now cutting him off. Oh, and he's round. Aries is round almost. Oh, and Rudy keeps him back online. But no love lost between these two as Rudy shuts him off a little bit. Rudy's got to give him space. He is there. These two are going to crash. And Rudy backs off. They're going side by side. And oh my god, how are these not crashing here, Felix? Because now Jabraka's now involved, and they're still wheel banging.
Oh, wow, that is not the cleanest fight we've seen. The race, the battle for the lead was a lot more clean than this. But yes, it has ended in tears. And it is so unfair for Jabraka that he is the innocent bystander. There's the crash. It had to happen. It had to happen.
Oh my god, there's a massive crash at the back. Knuth is round, and he is out. Knuth is round, and he's gone. I don't know if Davidek was caught in that other Mercedes. But something happened as Rudy's now got no front wing.
It had to happen. It wasn't a clean fight at all. They were just shoving each other off the track, and I really feel sorry for Jabraka because he was just an innocent bystander who got caught up in the end and now has front wing damage and might lose some positions here and there as, yeah, Gustav will have an easy pass on him now. Will he into the S section? He's got the inside line now. Yes, he is. Past Jabraka. Jabraka just doesn't have the downfalls anymore, and yeah.
Well, now Aries has now just got lost his front wing, so... And Davidek getting another position, almost contact between them through Magnus and Beggar's Arch Apple, and he still can't get through. As Corn's got a 3-second time penalty. We said Davidek won't get points here, Felix, but right now, he is going to get 2 free positions, so he's going to move into 7th. And it's got some valuable points for the AlphaTauri team. Oh my god, and what has he just done? He's just sent it out of Narnia, and he's just took out his front wing on the last lap. I don't know if that was an ambitious attempt on the final lap to get the move, but that's his points over. And Trasmizo Jax, he's trying to get through, and wow, not the cleanest racing as Davidek's now just gone off. So, yeah, very questionable racing there.
The standards have gone quite badly downhill in those final couple of laps, at least at the back of the grid. Gustav and Noah has spun out of turn 4, it looks like, which has lost him a position against Gustav and might lose him another position now on time penalties in the end. But yeah, the rain is really bad. Look at that, it's really pouring down now, and I think it's extreme conditions.
Yeah, it is.
Usually you would fit the full wets, but obviously it's no use now pitting. But what happened there in terms of racing at the back was just not nice to watch. But at least at the front we had a very clean fight with an unfortunate incident. But yeah, what they did at the back there, you said they were going to crash because they were just shoving each other off the track. But yeah, then the massive pile up, and I couldn't really keep up with it. But what I can keep up with is DV rounding the final couple of corners to take the race win then here in the Haas, and the British fans aren't going to be happy to see the Aston Martin only in P2, but here comes DV in horrendous conditions. He takes the race win after a brilliant overtake on our previous race leader Nuth ahead of Ron and Trinity. They've really put up a good fight here. Martin takes P4 in his Williams. Gustav comes around the final corner to take P5 on track, but what is it going to be on time penalties? It's still going to be P5, it looks like. Noah's taking P6 with him in his McLaren. Then there is Jabraka finishing in P7. Then Ares in P8 ahead of Tiramisu. Actually not ahead, he only just loses out on P8, drops down to P9 with his penalty. Davide is coming around the final corner without a single bit of his front wing to finish in P11, and same with Rudy. Not a good finish to the race for the AlphaTauri guys in P11 and P12 without a front wing. But fair play, especially to Noah, who went from 20th on the grid up to 6th in the end, I think it was. Absolutely brilliant stuff, and quite some horrendous racing we saw there at the end. But it was clean all around for the first half of the race. But there we have our race winner, DV. Well deserved, and a great race from him then. Great fighting for the race win in the Inters conditions. and he is on the top step of the podium ahead of the Aston Martin of Ron then. And I think we saw quite a good race until the end when it all, went a bit downhill. But that's just how it is sometimes. And, yeah.
Well, that is it then. And, well, do you want me to go down the grid order first?
I would love you to.
Well, Diva then, as we said, has taken the win on track and taken the win in style in the Haas. With Ron in second at Trinity, great third place and good job on him. Martin in fourth, Gustav in fifth, Cody's he apparently got the drive there, but I'm sorry, Noah has to get the drive there from sixth, starting in 20th to get sixth. Good job for the McLaren. Jabraka seventh, Jax in eighth, Aries in ninth, so good points there for the Alfa Romeo team. Cohen in the end does get 10th from starting 19th. Davidek and Rudy, disappointed from the AlphaTauri, not the cleanest from them today. I think they were not the best on track. Knuth, unfortunately, does get classified, but he could have won, but unfortunately he scores 13th. And then Sambilix, Ricardo, Laggy, Shane, Cameron Young, or Toxtamar, I mean, TG Kill, I believe it is.
Kill.
Apologies if I said Kill. Apologies if I said your name wrong there. And Slimbo, all DNF'd in the race. And the fast lap was actually taken by Cameron or Toxic, 28.8 when it was dry. So the top 10, obviously, whoever in top 10 will not be getting that fast lap point. But what a race in today's race, Felix. Dry weather, and then in the end, conditions, and then it brought out a lot of spicy wheel-to-wheel action.
Yeah, I think we had a very, very entertaining race, and I think it was a good way for you to start this season as a commentator for F4. I think it was a fun race to commentate for you as well, and I was very happy for you to join me. And I think in the end, I would have died again because I would have just been screaming all the way around, and I was very glad to have you with me. Just a quick note, Toxic Tomato with the fastest lap just shows he's got the pace, but he just hasn't got it together this season so far, especially in quali. He just needs to qualify higher up the grid to stay out of trouble at the start, and he couldn't manage to do that today. And yeah, that's what you get in the end. Driver of the day, I think we have a very obvious choice with Noah in P6, but I'm actually going to go for DV. Because he stayed in the mix for the race win, he stayed in the fight for the race win all race long, stayed in P3, didn't make any mistakes, and then a very, very good fight with Nuth for the race win, which sadly ended in tears for the McLaren driver, but in the end, a well-deserved win, and he handled it very well in the rainy conditions.
Yeah, definitely. He handled it quite well, but unfortunately, I'm going to have to disagree with your driver today. As I said, it's Noah. He started at the back. He went off on the formation lap on the medium tyres. He went in the gravel at Luffield. And the guy got out of chaotic mess in turn 3 and 4, and then wings going everywhere. So he did well getting out of that. Then there was a couple more crashes ahead later on, and even with a spin in the rain, he still got the position he got. He could have had 5th, I believe, without that spin. And there was a safety car, so he's done a terrific job in that McLaren and bring it from that far back to get 6th and get good points for the McLaren team since Knuth unfortunately DNF'd. It's a very good day in the office for McLaren as a whole and for Noah as well. Yeah,
well, I can't really disagree with you, but I just wanted to have two different driver of the days for each commentator, because obviously Noah was the obvious choice, and I think he's done a brilliant job here today to finish in 6th, with all what you've mentioned, what happened to him throughout this race. But I think we've seen a brilliant race today. I was very happy for you to join me, and I'm looking forward for the next couple of weeks with you in the commentary box. And I think we have a very good season up on our hands. And yeah, make sure to tune in next week when we are live again at 7 PM UK time on Monday. Make sure to check out the F1 live stream right now. Thank you all again for watching. It was a brilliant race to commentate over. And yeah, with that, anything to add, Jared?
No, I think you basically covered it all. It's just been a debut comms and a terrific race. Hopefully some more action-packed racing for the rest of the season. I really can't wait for the Portuguese Grand Prix. That's going to be my favourite, I think. to commentate with you. And well, you never know, we might only have a 5-car grid at the end. It goes chaotic, as they might go wheel to wheel all around that track. So have to wait and see.
Yeah. So thank you all for joining us. We're hoping to see you guys once again next week, and until then, goodbye and take care.